We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about what walked this Earth millions of years ago. Think about that. Scientists have sent robots to a planet 140 million miles away. They've mapped its craters, counted its rocks, and taken selfies on its surface. But right here, on our own planet, creatures walked the ice that we are just beginning to understand. Creatures that looked familiar, but were wrong in every way you can imagine. Picture a penguin. You're probably thinking of something cute, knee-height, waddles around, maybe holds a fish. Now, delete that image. What if that penguin was taller than your dad? What if it weighed as much as a baby polar bear? What if it stood there on the ancient ice, staring you down with cold, black eyes the size of golf balls? This is the story of a world we were never meant to see. A world ruled not by lions or wolves, but by giants wearing tuxedos. To understand these creatures, we have to go back, way back. Not years, not centuries, we're talking 37 million years ago. The world you know is gone. No cities, no roads, no people. The continent of Antarctica, the frozen land at the very bottom of Earth, it isn't completely frozen yet. It's cold, it's wet, it's wild. And the ocean surrounding it, it is alive. The water is dark green, dense and heavy with nutrients, thick like soup compared to what you'd swim in at the beach. Now, imagine standing on that shoreline. The temperature drops with every step you take toward the water. The sky is gray. The clouds are low. The wind cuts right through you like a knife made of ice. And then, something moves on the beach ahead of you. Something big. You squint. You lean forward. And slowly, you realize what you're looking at. It's a penguin, but it walks upright like a person. It's almost as tall as you. It turns its head slowly, and it looks at you. Welcome to the world of Paleoeudyptes klekowskii. Scientists call it the Colossus penguin, and it is the largest penguin that has ever lived on this planet. Let's talk about just how big this thing was. The average adult human today stands about 5 feet 7 inches tall. The Colossus penguin stood 6 feet 8 inches tall. That's taller than most NBA players. That's taller than most doorways. And it didn't just have height going for it. It weighed around 250 pounds, roughly the same as a professional wrestling champion. Now picture that with flippers and a beak and absolutely zero sense of humor. The Colossus penguin's beak alone was like a spear, long, thick, and sharp at the tip. Scientists believe it used that beak to stab fish underwater. Not scoop them, not grab them, stab them. Like a living harpoon. And this creature wasn't alone. New Zealand, Peru, Antarctica, Argentina, giant penguins were everywhere in the southern hemisphere. Scientists have now found over 20 different species of giant penguins, some shorter, some stockier, some with strange elongated beaks, and some with what looks like reddish or brownish feathers, instead of the classic black and white. That's right, not all ancient penguins wore tuxedos. Some were rust-colored, like dried blood. But here is where it gets even stranger. Are you ready? These giant penguins could hold their breath for up to 40 minutes. 40. The average human, even a trained diver, maxes out at around 20 minutes with years of practice and a very special set of lungs. But these creatures just dove deep into the dark, cold water, and they stayed there, hunting in the blackness, in silence. Now here's where the science gets really wild, and I promise I'll keep it simple. When scientists dig up fossils, that means bones and remains preserved in rock for millions of years, they don't just find the shapes of the animals. Sometimes they find colors. Inside the fossils of ancient penguin feathers, researchers discovered tiny structures called melanosomes. Think of melanosomes like little bags of paint inside each feather. By studying the shape of those tiny bags, scientists can figure out what color the feather actually was. And what they found shocked everyone. Giant penguins weren't black and white. They were reddish-brown on top, gray on the bottom, with white patches near their face, different from anything alive today. So why did penguins get smaller over time? Great question. Scientists think it has to do with competition. When giant whales and dolphins evolved, meaning they slowly changed over millions of years into the creatures we know today, they moved into the same waters as the giant penguins, sharing the same fish and the same hunting grounds. Slowly, the ocean became more dangerous, and being smaller had real advantages. Smaller meant faster. Smaller meant you could hide more easily. Smaller meant you could survive on less food. So over millions of years, the giant penguins disappeared. Not with a bang, not with a disaster, just slowly, quietly. They shrank generation by generation, until one day, they were gone. And here is one of the most jaw-dropping facts about all of this. We are still finding new giant penguin species right now. In 2023, scientists in New Zealand announced the discovery of a new species they named Palaeeudyptes stoketsi, which means demolition penguin, because of how powerful it was. We have studied penguins for hundreds of years, and we are still finding new giants hiding in the rock, hidden in cliffs, hidden in riverbanks, hidden in museum drawers where old fossils sat unlabeled for decades, just waiting for someone smart enough to look again. The Earth is still keeping its secrets. So here's the question that keeps scientists up at night. If something this massive, this strange, this unexpected could evolve right here on Earth, what does that say about life out there? Europa is one of Jupiter's moons. Underneath its frozen crust, scientists believe there is a vast liquid ocean, dark, cold, pressurized. Sound familiar? If life found a way to build a 250-pound bird that could dive for 40 minutes in the freezing dark waters of ancient Earth, what is building itself right now in an ocean we have never seen? What is swimming in the dark beneath the ice of a moon 40 years of space travel away from where you're sitting right now? We don't know. But that's the thing about science. Every answer creates 3 new questions. Every fossil we pull from the rock reminds us how little we actually know. A world we were never meant to see is slowly revealing itself, one bone at a time, one discovery at a time. And somewhere out there, the next giant is waiting to be found. If you want to be there when we find it, hit subscribe, because the next adventure is already being unearthed.